Welcome to the Bestie Perspective,
a podcast where healing gets real,
where we explore the mind-body-spirit connection,
and where becoming your best self isn't perfect, it's personal. So take a deep breath.
You're safe here with the Bestie Perspective.
Hey, besties, and in particular, hey, all you healthcare besties. I'm speaking to you nurses, doctors, patient care technicians, and all caregivers in between. In this episode, we are coming back to the heart of healthcare together. We'll share simple, in the moment practices that you can use right in the middle of your shift. And these are going to help you stay grounded, centered, and especially connected to why you started this career in the first place. So think of these as if you're pressing the mid-shift reset button. Little pauses, little ways to breathe, to come back into your heart. And this can help you even on your busiest of days. This is healthcare, heart over hustle. So these techniques I want to share with you guys are from my energetic medicine background, but they are also somatic. They're psychological. So I just want to say, for those who don't believe or who aren't into that energy stuff, then just do it for your psyche. Do it for regulating your nervous system. It's getting you to the same place. But from an energy standpoint, just a little background real quick on the heart chakra, which is what we're playing with today, our heart space, our heart center. It is, if anyone has seen a picture of the heart chakras, or excuse me, a picture of all the chakras, the heart is specifically depicted as the color green. It's in the center of your chest, and it is all about what you might think the heart would be: love, empathy, compassion, kindness, generosity, and forgiveness. All things we might need in a nursing shift, right? But I want to
Absolutely.
Yes, I want to ask you ladies, do you have any, or do you have a very real example of the power of stepping into your heart space while working in the hospital? And what that looked like? Maybe you just took a moment, but it really shifted things and helped you keep going.
I would maybe say at my last bedside nursing job in the operating room, I was just telling the ladies before we hopped on here that I was hardcore relying on one of Eileen's heart chakra meditations every morning in the parking deck before I would go in. And that is like a pre-work example of getting me in the right space to start my day every day, because I was just at the point where I was so miserable, just dreading going in, and very much a believer of we get to choose how we want to show up. And despite the negativity in the environment I was in, I was like, I refuse to just let this completely take over. So I think that practice of just 15 minutes of me sitting in the dark parking deck and centering myself and tapping into what I wanted to bring into the day and into my heart like that. I really think, because I probably did that for the last at least 3 months of my bedside career, I think that made a huge difference in helping me make it that much longer in my career. So that's one where it's not actively in the shift, but I think it was so powerful for me to experience that before work every day to just set myself on the right path.
I love it. So good. I remember that time, and I think you left me a voice message, or you called me and you were like, thank you so much for this meditation you taught me. And guess what happened at this shift? And guess what happened at this one? And like, you were getting these amazing shifts, even though it was towards the tail end of your nursing position there. You were just so much more capable of kind of surviving, I think,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
chaos.
Yes.
And that for sure, I'll, like, go with that for me. That might be one of the best ones. So it's the prep for myself. And it would be on the drive. Like, I would be saying affirmations related to the heart and how I wanted my day, and just, stepping into a space that was loving, wishing myself good things for my shift, and really putting that intention before stepping into the Shiat was so helpful.
Yes. I
What
love
about you,
that.
Hannah? Anything actually during work?
Now you guys have me really taking a step back to try to pull that from under the rug. I feel like I've stuffed so much of my bedside nursing under the rug, like, "Oh,
Sure.
I'm done with that."
Right? Let's not
But
think about it ever again.
right. And so I worked a night shift actually when I did work, and
Mm.
so a lot of my evenings, I would actually drive up to the top of the parking deck, and it was usually really empty because it was nights and a lot of the people from days had already gone home. And I would make it an effort to go up there and get to work early and like watch the sunset and just take a minute.
Ah,
And
I
for
love
me,
that.
being in nature helps just helps me connect to my heart, and helps me feel more connected to God and the reason why I chose to be a nurse in the first place. So
Uh,
I think even if I didn't have time to show up early and go to the top of the parking deck, I would. Her unit had the best view of a sunset from this one particular side. So I always hoped that I had patience in that row, but sometimes it didn't always work out. But
mm.
I would make it a point to, like, roll up their window curtain if they were alert and oriented, because I worked in the ICU, so sometimes they were, like, zonked on the incubator,
Mm.
and then I would open up the windows too, because 'cause I'm like, "Hey, it's okay. We'll let you see the sunset too, even though you're
Aw,
stated," but it really did slow me down at the beginning of my shift. Like, just
yeah.
take a minute, even in the midst of everything going on, and, um I'm not sure if that counts, but that's what came to mind for me.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you both for sharing. And so I do want to share one that I actually used on a patient. This was an experience where I used heart space engagement, and it actually ended up being for the whole room. So one of my, well, it wasn't even my patient. It was, I just happened to be charting at the nurse's station, and she had to have been 7, maybe a 7-year-old girl that was in a car
Mhm.
accident, and she was
Mm.
so roughed up and still somewhat concussed that she was sensitive to everything. You know how some people in a concussion need cognitive rest, dim the lights, like too much, but
Mhm.
she was responding in a very interesting way to certain medications. Well, I just heard screaming from the room, and she was saying, "It burns, it burns." And I believe she was getting a medication, and I can't remember today what it was, but it was going through her IV, and she was freaking out in bed so much that, and she was so loud to where it had to have been at least 5 of us that ran into the room, and her nurse was a newer nurse, and she was kind of, like, looking like, "Oh my gosh, what did I do? I'm doing everything right. It's supposed to be running through the IV," and, she had this look on her face like, "Oh no, what should I do?" And so
Yeah.
the mom's trying to figure out, like, where is it burning? And she said, "Everywhere." So I think she could feel the medicine going through her system and just started hyperventilating, going into a panic. And what I felt from her that was happening was she was so much in the story, and that specific energy center is sometimes where the solar plexus in your belly, where your belly is activated. And so through everyone, like, talking like, "Oh, should we do this? Should we do that?" And everyone kind of in a panic, I just knelt down to the bedside and whispered to her, and I just said, "Breathe, honey, just breathe." And she honed in on my voice somehow through all the chaos. I think it no, looking back, it was my presence and my intention to like connect with her and ground her. And so she did. She started breathing. I said, "Good, but you're still breathing a little too fast, sweetie. You can get dizzy." So I said, "I'm going to put my hand right here on your chest, and I want you to make it rise and fall very slowly with your breath." And she started to do that. I said, "So good. Slow it down. Keep breathing. Very nice. You just focus right here, right on my hand. Feel that. And it's going to go away soon." And it just, I swear, I think that the whole entire room could feel her calm, like, washed everyone, and everyone winded down. And I believe we figured out that, yeah, the medication we could change or something like that, but there were several nurses. The one whose patient that was, the charge nurse, and someone else that was like, "Eileen, that was so great. That was so good." Like,
I'm feeling it right
oh,
now.
She's
I'm
in
like,
her
wow,
zone.
I'm getting washed over in this moment by your story.
yeah, the guided imagery and just the combination of it all. Like,
Yeah.
that's the power of these techniques is it doesn't just affect yourself or your patient, it can affect the entire hospital even. I truly am a believer in that. But we and I am knowledgeable. I do love looking into the science part of the heart space. I can talk to you about how the nervous system almost matches where the energy centers are and the clusters, the nerve ganglia. And I can talk about the Heart Math Institute, the discovery of neurites and the experiments they
Nerd.
do there.
Just
I
kidding.
mean, I could keep going all day. I could nerd out. I could even talk about how the CIA knows about human energy and it trains people on how to use their human energy in their
Mhm.
biofield and whatnot. But I am going to put this up to our listeners. If you're interested in that kind of episode, put a comment, let us know, and we can nerd out together. Today, I want to help people who have been feeling out of their heart space. And what might that be? Especially a healthcare worker during your shift. If you're feeling shut down, depleted, stressed, if even maybe beforehand you're carrying something from your life into the shift, rejected, lonely, grieving, could be grieving the loss of a patient or a loved one, and you're having to carry that energy into your shift. Or any listeners that may just want to enhance their love life, bring in more romance. This can be for anybody and everybody. So I will repeat that if you're not into this stuff, it's just think you're just benefiting your psyche. You're just doing some guided imagery. You're just helping out your nervous system and leave it at that. I promise it'll help. So the specific one that Lauren was referring to, this is one that I use for visualization. And so I'll start with talking about that one, but you can honestly create your own. That's the beauty of these techniques. You're going to visualize something going on in your heart space. Now, with the heart chakra information that I said previously, that it's the color green, I usually guide people to see a green glowing sphere of light starting within you, beginning to expand out, can be more like a flashlight, but then starting to grow and completely surround your body, your whole energy field, your aura, your bubble, if you will. And if you want, you can expand out further and further and further and engulf as much of an area as you want to. Get it as big as you want, but it's just bringing your energy from within that you have outward. So you're not, you know, pulling in from your outer world and taking on what's not yours. How do you ladies think that would help a caregiver of any kind doing that even just for 2 minutes and then going into their shift?
I think it's so easy, especially in a nursing shift, for example, to get so sucked into your environment and what's happening, right? Because as a nurses, we have to be on top of it all, right? The life or death aspect of what meds, are they okay? Are they alive? But also, have they eaten? Can they eat? Do they have a IV for hydration, right? All these factors, along with other coworkers maybe needing assistance, along with management. So I think it's super easy to get instantly pulled into your environment as a nurse, where honing that practice, like you said, even if it's a couple minutes of pulling from within, I think can really help center people back to realize, okay, I don't need to take on, crazy Susie, Nurse Susie's energy right now. Like we all know those, the sky is always falling nurses, right?
Oh,
We
yeah.
don't need to take that on. It's like if you tap in for a second, you can realize, okay, no, that's not mine. That's not mine. That's not mine. And or this is how I want to show up today. So that's what it makes me think of.
Perfect.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, you kind of explained how it helped you in the beginning of the episode to just take a minute and tap in, and I do think, just to kinda echo, I think it's really important to, yeah, check in with yourself before you
Mhm.
step into the chaos of your shift.
Yeah.
You never know what you're gonna get. You never know what box of chocolates you'll get, when you step onto the unit sometimes. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, coming from that place where you're empowered and you have decided how you want your shift to go and the energy that you're bringing, so that when crazy Susie, or how did you say it, Lauren? Crazy
Crazy
Susie,
Nurse Susie.
when you're getting report from crazy nurse Susie and she's like, "Oh my god, I had this day and this doctor and this resident did this and that and this patient, I had to take them to CT," and you know, you can just, I'm sure if you're a healthcare worker, you can just feel that, and
Yeah.
how I just talked, and be able to pinpoint someone on your unit. So like when you're taking report from somebody like that,
Yeah.
you come onto the shift with your energy. Bring calm to the end of their shift and, set that up. Use that green glowing energy that you have already established and just share some of that with them, you know? And not only
Mm.
them, but then when you walk into your patient's room, they've been surrounded by that nurse's energy all day long.
Thanks a lot, Susie.
So imagine how it's going to feel when you come into their room with your energy that you have chosen to
Yeah.
cultivate before the shift, and what justice that will do for them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
beautifully
Just the
put.
healing presence that you can really have as a nurse is very undervalued, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, visualization can be, even if you're just picturing a door in your chest and saying, you know what, my heart is open and it's opening up, or the bubble popping, and you just kind of, however, you can play with it, colors, light, and however you want it to look, just as long as it's connection and openness that you're targeting, you're going to recenter in your heart space. It's just going to happen naturally. You can have your eyes closed, but if you're in the middle of it, you don't want to just be like, right? Like, you might not, you might have 10 other people nearby. You don't want to, look like you're asleep. That's fine. You can also focus seeing these visualizations in your mind's eye. So that's the first one. The next one, I would say, I'm kind of going through all the senses. So auditory, if we did visualization, next hearing, you can talk to your heart. You can listen internally and you can ask questions. Listen and ask, what do I need to know? You can say affirmations. You can ask your heart, even, what's a affirmation that's going to be good for me in this moment. I know you ladies have done stuff with me when it came to talking to your heart. And I remember in the beginning, you were both surprised that you got something like, oh, it speaks back. But honestly, yeah. And what's funny is sometimes it can have some personality, right?
Yes.
So I'm I will say verbal too. It could be a separate sense, but it's obviously still connected to auditory. But you can speak it out loud. if we've talked plenty of times recently how nurses don't get breaks, but if you do manage to go to the bathroom and if you're in a spot where you can say something out loud to yourself and not, come across as a
Crazy.
weirdo.
You'll match
But
crazy nurse Susie. But at least you're affirming good things, not complaining about the sky
exactly.
falling.
Exactly. Oh gosh, we balance out her crazy, right?
Mhm.
But you can out loud hear your own voice saying heart or love related affirmations. You could even use all the chakra energy centers. If someone that is into that, the root chakra, sacral, solar, all of them have a different I blank. So you can say for the root, starting there, I am love, I feel love, going up and up, I do love, I emanate love, I speak love, I see or perceive love, and I know love for the crown chakra. For people who are savvy about the energy centers of the body, you can say all kinds of things. You can listen to a music that gets you tapped in, anything
Mhm.
that's hearing involved. Then we have taste and smell. This is where you may want to bring healthy green foods for lunch or for a snack. You can focus on foods that are good for the heart organ itself or the circulatory system. Like being intentional with what you're eating, if it's pro heart, that can absolutely set you into your heart space.
Cacao.
I was just gonna
Cacao.
say that. Yes. Cacao, baby.
Oh my gosh, if you guys hadn't listened to our cacao episode, you totally feel how all three of us, in slightly different ways, tap into our heart space, but it's like inevitable in our cacao ceremony. So,
Yes.
just
Yes.
saying, a lot of nurses are addicted to coffee. You could switch it out for cacao.
Mhm. For sure.
So you can also do essential oils. I know of two that are heart specific, which is rose and jasmine, but I'm sure there's others. Or if there's just a smell that you love, you can always get a hit, keep a little bottle in your
That's
purse or
what
in
I
your
did.
pocket. Tell me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually made, because y'all, I was going through it at the end of my bedside nursing career. So not
Yeah.
only would I prep myself with a heart chakra meditation in the parking deck, I kept in my pocket a an index card with a few affirmations on it and a roller bottle of an essential oil blend that I made myself. I call it my self-love blend, but it was oils that are supposed to help with self-love.
I remember
So
now.
what? You remember now?
I
I remember that
So,
too.
just honestly too, there's something tactile about having the affirmation card as well. You may get to that with touch, I'm not sure, but, having it with me was powerful, and then when I did have moments to sneak off or, like, run to the bathroom real quick, I would pull out my affirmation card, or actually first I would open my roller bottle, give it a nice inhale. I'd even maybe put some on my wrists or something, and then I would read my affirmations, kinda, like, have a nice, like, moment. I mean, less than a minute, right? Because we're lucky if we even get a bathroom break. So, I would do that, and then I would go out, and I felt like when I did have time during the day to make these mini 30-second to a minute moments, it really
Mm.
helped me maintain my my cool,
yeah.
among all the
Get
chaos of
yourself
the
in
day.
check.
Mhm. So, scent was huge for me. I mean, we know anyway how
Yeah.
powerful the sense of smell is, how
Yeah.
tied to
Yeah.
memory it is. So, even if you guys
Yes.
have a certain smell you like, and you can associate that with something positive and calm and grounding, however you wanna feel on your shift, I mean, anything works.
Yeah.
I made this specific blend, but then it trained me that when I smelled that smell, I could and tap into my peace and my calm and my heart and just
Yeah.
go
And
back to it.
I'm sure it was even faster and stronger with time that you could tap into
Yeah,
that because the smell just
Yeah.
trained your brain to, like, get there.
which is helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Hmm. So, and with the essential oils or without, you can step into breathing, like through the nose and out
Mhm.
the mouth. That is really, really calming, but it's your lungs, and your lungs are also in your chest, and that's still activating your heart center, energetically speaking. So, yes, taking deep breaths, even intentionally sighing with a noise, that does something up here. That tells your body, oh, we're supposed to calm down. Oh, okay. I'm gonna like get out of the loop and I'm gonna come back to my body. So
Mhm.
breathing for sure. Then we can get more into tactile, but let's say you're charting at the nurse's station and you're starting to feel the tension. You're like, ugh, if it's in your shoulders or even a tightness in your chest or pit of your stomach, then you can actually tense up even more on purpose and then relax and be like jello. And that will get you a little bit more back into your body. That one may not necessarily be heart specific, but having these awareness points is what's going to help you guys get through your shifts that much better. And that's what we're trying to help everyone do today. So that's one thing. Your jaw's clenching, go into that clench even more because then you realize, like, oh, when you relax, it makes it a little bit that much more relieving. Um,
Mhm.
so more into the tactile, tangible, placing your hand on your heart. I mean, you could do that anywhere. Do it in the line at Starbucks when you're about to punch the person in front of you taking forever. Like, you could do it anywhere. But yeah, this is especially for nurses. If you're about to go into a patient's room after just coming from chaos from another patient, and there's this customer service aspect where you got to pretend like everything's okay and go into the next one. And a lot of people don't take a pause. I say try this before you enter that next patient's room. Take a moment, take a pause, close your eyes, put your hand on your heart. You can take a deep breath, you can do a visualization, do anything. Seconds. Just bringing your awareness to your heart, or you can even just say, I'm recentered back into my heart. I allow my heart to remain open. I release whatever's needed. Something quick. And then enter the room and see if that doesn't change the situation. Because sometimes I feel like it spills over and chaos begins in that room and that room and that room because we are bringing in this energy. We're dragging it along with us like a sack of potatoes unintentionally.
Dropping a potato in every room.
Spread the potatoes out. Don't carry them all on your shoulders. But I mean, we've all been through those crazy shifts, right? Where maybe we
Yes.
needed 20 pauses in one day. But
Mhm.
that's especially helpful for these nurses that have been working straight nonstop 6 hours and they might not get a break, even for the rest of the shift. But
Mhm.
sometimes just that small pause can make all the difference.
Even I wanna mention too, just, like, in summary of all these great points that you made and all these little moments, I think really starting to learn all of the even nonverbal or non-super noticeable things that you can do on a shift is powerful because
Yeah.
something that I dealt with a lot in the OR was so many big type A personalities in one room. And so I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many people said so many rude ass things to me. And in that moment though, you could have your internal, like the auditory that Eileen was talking about, where you have your affirmation or you have, something that you say to yourself or whatever it is, or even tactile, your hand could slip in your pocket and just like graze your affirmation card, or if you carry crystals with you or something like that. I just wanted to highlight how powerful it is because it can really, really affect how we show up. And
Yeah.
I mean, another example to just share is I've had people at work literally say, "Oh my god, why is she so happy?" and be really negative about it. And then
Wow,
I
like
was
it's
PRN.
like
Yeah, yeah.
an
Like, how
insult.
dare you be happy? Yeah. And then I was PRN at the time, which for those who aren't maybe in the medical field, it means as needed and or like I got to pick my shifts and schedule. So I worked basically part-time and somebody else had said, "Well, that's because she's PRN or that's because she doesn't work all the time." And I remember thinking in that moment, y'all motherfuckers don't know I get here 15 minutes early to meditate. I carry oils in my pocket and affirmation cards to deal with you and choose to be happy.
And
So
You
you
know.
still chose to be happy.
I
So,
did.
Yes.
boom, mic drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, just
She's like,
summing
I
up
had to bring my whole witchcraft cabinet with me to work
my,
to deal
my
with
whole
you people.
pocket, my whole pocket apothecary up in here. Scrub pocket apothecary. There we go. But yeah, like
I love it.
it was honestly funny to me at that point, right? Like I was in my own space enough to let it roll off and be like, that's hilarious. Like you think I just am, right? But I am choosing and I am aligning myself with how I want to show up for my patients and my coworkers. So
So good.
I just thought that was a funny story.
Yes, yes. You know what? We need to like create a little apothecary, scrub apothecary kit for people. We'll have a
Yeah.
crystal. We'll have a tiny little essential oil thing. They can like have a little
Get a quick
affirmation.
That's so
just
cute.
kidding.
Yes. Oh, Lauren just fell upon something here. We might have to brainstorm some stuff with
Yes,
that.
comment below if you guys want a scrub apothecary kit.
Yes, love it. One of the things I was going to say is if it's really feeling intense, like anxiety ridden, you can
Mm.
tap at your chest, and this actually works on an energy meridian. But again, regulating the nervous system, like getting your focus here with the tapping, it's going to pull your awareness back to your body and recenter you. But one technique that I really wanted to, and I'm finishing on this one on purpose because it's such a beautiful one. You maybe lost a patient or you lost a loved one. Maybe you took a bereavement break and you weren't exactly ready to come back to work, but you got to do it. You're carrying loss with you. One thing that you can do, and it can be any time during the shift, before or after, is put your hand on your heart. You can either have a photograph, you can pull out your phone and get a picture of them, you can just write their name on a piece of paper, the person that you are grieving that you're missing, that you wish you had with you and you wanna connect to, and you put your finger of the free hand on either the photo or the name, and just see as if that touch point and the touch point of your heart is connecting with that person. This can
Mm.
be even for long distance relationships. Maybe your spouse is in the military and you have to work a shift and you just had a really, you know, quick conversation with him last night. It wasn't enough. Like there can be so many things. It can be for people who have passed on or for people who are still there. This is a long distance connection through your heart space. So I want to leave you guys with that. I think
Mm.
that could be helpful for so many reasons. But um, I'm curious, actually, though, ladies, if you guys have lost a patient before.
Mhm.
I have definitely lost patience, and I've also come on to shifts before where I acquired the, like, after duties of a patient that had already passed and, like,
Mm.
continuing,
Ooh.
like, cleaning the room, um, getting the patient sent down to the morgue and things like that, and I've also been on duty, like, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many codes happen in the ICU, so, there have definitely been a lot of times where I've lost a patient and kind of feel the room be a little bit slower.
Mm,
And I've
yeah.
also had patients who were, like, most likely not going to make it, or they were very, very, very sick, and I would even like, the luxury of nights, not always, but they were, like, a little bit more slow, and so,
Yeah.
like, I would do bed baths and things for the patients that day shift usually
Mm.
didn't have time for, and for my patients, I would, like, if I had time, take a moment and do kind of like what you were saying, but in real life, not with a photo, but I would put one hand on their heart and one on mine, and
Oh,
I
I
would, like,
love
say a
it.
prayer, and, like, it
Mm,
was, like, a quick thing, like, no big deal, but how would you care for a family member or a loved one? And that's what I would do and implement in my
mm,
shift. That helped me feel aligned in the nurse that I wanted to be.
Yeah,
beautiful.
that is
Mm.
beautiful. Such a lovely nurse.
I know, I would have loved for Hannah to be my nurse.
I mean, you might not have known it because you might have already I mean, your spirit would have known it, but th these
Yeah,
patients, I always wonder. I know one patient did come to me in my dreams and thank me, and
yeah.
I'll never forget that, and that's what kinda
Mm,
made me think, like, maybe they really do know and, like, maybe they really will
yeah,
remember, and so I think it's so important for every nurse to truly remember these patients will always be with you, and
mm,
even if you know it or not, or whether you remember it in your dreams or not, like, they are
yeah,
visiting you to thank you.
yeah. For us, it was also like, it never felt like just my patient. So there thankfully were only a few that I was involved with that had passed away, and it
Oh,
usually was never on our unit because it was med surge, but uh, it was a surgical floor. But I mean, the oldest was 5. Then there was a one-year-old or a 19-month-old, like, whew, that age is tough
my
on anyone,
gosh.
so even though it was a very limited
Imaginable.
amount, yeah, I think 1 at that age is, like, is enough for anyone to experience, so shout out to the special nurses that deal with pediatrics and children because it's a different ballgame for sure. And Lauren,
Mhm.
you were OR and you said you had lost patients as well.
Yes, only one,
Okay.
fortunately. It was still very sad, I think, because, again, we were just sharing how we decide to show up on our units and on our
Yeah.
shifts, right? And I remembered before we went to go get this woman from the ICU, she, the whole team was really negative. They were just, "Oh, she's not gonna make it anyway." It almost, like, felt like an
Oh.
inconvenience, and I thought that was so disheartening because I was like, "This could go really good." Right? Like, we could like, I still chose to be positive about it, but it was sad to see the whole team already kind of deciding how it was gonna go before we
Mm.
even went to get her because she was gonna be, like, a very, very risky case, and
Mm.
usually the OR tries to not have people die in the OR, which is why I only ever experienced 1 death in the OR.
Sure.
The other deaths I experienced were as a nursing student in the ICU. But yeah, it was really hard because everything was happening so fast. It was gonna be like the team was trying to go really fast to minimize the amount of time that she had to be under and in surgery, but then she started crashing and everything just happened so back to back. But I think the worst part was the family. Because I have shared on other episodes that I had not been given a moment to grieve, and it was actually this particular case, and I was forced within minutes to go back up and get the next patient without that moment to even process, and it was another patient from the ICU, and they must have just delivered the news to the father and the son because the woman was only in her 30s, so it was a young son and the father,
Mm.
and I remembered, like, walking by and seeing them breaking down, and it it's just so hard when you don't even have that moment to process, but then also, like, I don't know, it's like the experience in the OR and then the experience with the families as well, and I'm sure you both experienced that too, where it's another layer. It's not just the patient that you're losing, it's the family and their loss as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good point. Ah,
Yeah.
thank you. So hopefully people can use that long distance connection one. Um, that's definitely I can't imagine how many nurses are having to do such a busy shift and carry all of that. Like you said, Lauren, to not even have a pause.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, find the time and give it to yourself because it's worth a pause at
Yeah.
minimum, right?
It is.
And I
Yes.
feel like it gives you energy in a sense to be able to show up as your best. Like when you said that the nurses were like, the team was like pretty negative about it all, it just had me thinking, like, yeah, like if you don't have space to open your heart and hope for the best, you're gonna have that defense mechanism. You're gonna like try to prepare yourself and not get your hopes up, right? You're gonna
Mhm.
close your heart off to that. I mean, am I making sense? Do you guys see what I'm saying
Mhm.
with that? Like, yeah, that makes me so sad.
It
It is.
does, yeah. So the beauty of these techniques is that you can do it right here, right now, by simply placing your hand on your heart and bringing attention to that area of the body. Remember, even in the chaos, you can step out of the hustle mode and back into your heart. Thank you so much for being with us today, besties. We love you. We honor your presence and we adore your willingness to listen to what we have to share with you in our episodes. So, like, share, subscribe, and comment on all our platforms. You can find us through our At the Bestie Perspective handle. And be sure to share this episode with someone who's either struggling or someone who wants to try to tap into a loving space in a different way. Until next time, keep growing, keep glowing, and always trust in your own bestie perspective.